5. And here we have started a little farm here. Not much just yet, but I must say I cannot recall what goes on in this episode, so I'm gonna swim across the ocean because I don't like boats in Pocket Edition. And here we are, back at the village, back at the tower. And let's check it out. I must say I don't know if they've increased the spawn rate of villages in recent updates, because I've had really good luck with finding villages in Pocket Edition. I had the 2 in this world, and then I had another world where I had 2, 3 even, just right off the bat, right out of spawn, and I was finding villages. I was like, wow. I mentioned it before, but I have a survival world in Java Edition that dates back to the 1.8 update. That was when I started it, and I have not found a single village on that thing. I haven't found much of anything. I found an ocean temple, and that was about it. I think there might have been a jungle temple too. I forget, it's been a while. I gotta find a bed here because it's gotten dark. It always gets dark on me. Not that one. This village has 2 churches, which is interesting. They chose the yellow stained glass for their stained glass windows, which was a choice. I guess that's okay. There's never anything up here. I played a mod once where there were chests in the churches. Don't know what mod that was though. We know there's not going to be anything up here, but we go up instead, you know. I'm gone. I like the wave sound effects when you get close to the shore. I think that might be new. Oh. Thank you, Iron Golem. You saved my life. And of course we have our blacksmith. Obsidian. And iron and apples. And bread. Get a lot of food out of this village. Never anything in the furnace. It'd be nice if there was something in the furnaces once in a while. Just like once in a while. That might be one of the chests I looted the first time I came to this village. So back in the day, my brother used to play outdoor soccer. And some of his friends also played and some of my friends played. I didn't play because I hate sports. But of course I was a kid at the time, so I would be at the pitch because I couldn't stay home alone. I was too young. Or I just chose to come when I was older. And so the pitch was like multiple fields, so they had multiple teams playing against each other at the same time. And it was fenced in, and there were these holes in the fence, like deliberate holes in the fence that they put there so that if the ball was kicked over the fence, you could get the ball and bring it back. And so it was fenced in on 3 sides. The side that wasn't fenced was the road-facing side, so the road, the parking lot. And then the other 3 sides were bush-facing, so there was just bush. And one time, I don't know if it was a tournament or if it was just a regular game, but I was there, my brother was playing, and a couple of my friends were there because one of their younger sisters was playing in that age group, and they were playing after in the older age group. So, well, we were just hanging out while the younger kids were playing. And we went to climb through the fence on the back side, so the one that was directly opposite the road-facing side. So we climbed through the fence, and it was kind of like a rocky slope that we climbed up. And we came across this little trail that kind of disappeared back into the bush. I kind of have conflicting memories of whether the trail ran directly back away from the soccer pitch or whether it ran parallel to the back fence and then went off into the bush. I think it was the latter, though. It ran parallel and then it disappeared into the bush. And it went on for quite a while. We walked down there far enough that we could not hear the noise from the soccer pitch. And, there was a good amount of noise going on, multiple games going on and people cheering. So it was a good amount of noise. And we walked far enough that we couldn't hear that noise. And it kept going. We didn't go to the end. I have no idea where this trail ended. It struck me as very weird. I got some very weird vibes from it. And, I was the eldest. I think there were 3 or 4 of us, but I cannot remember for the life of me who the 4th person would have been. I know my brother's friend's older brother, who is my age, was also there, but he wasn't with us. We actually met him on the trail when we were heading back, and he was, but he wasn't with us. it was me, my two other friends, and I feel like there was a fourth person, but I don't know who it would have been. And yeah, this trail was weird. Like, it was in this, like, it was like in the bush, but it wasn't an area where there would have been a hiking trail, because the soccer pitch was in like a residential area. So there were like houses on either side of it, and then I believe if you, I believe it was like an isolated section of forest. It was walled in by houses and by highways, and it, like, there wouldn't have, I don't think there would have been a hiking trail there. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it was, I feel like it might have gone to somebody's house. Like, somebody, either it was a trail that some kids who lived nearby in one of those houses had, like, made to get to the soccer pitch, or it was, like, a trail. It was weird. It was like it came out into the open, so it overlooked the soccer pitch. So, like, I can't help but think, like, what if I got some weird vibes. I was the eldest in the group, and I was like urging them to turn back. Like, I was like, we shouldn't keep going, like, we should turn back, like, this is weird. And I think eventually I turned back on my own, because I was like, I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore. And then eventually they followed me. And I just, like, I feel like it must have gone to somebody's house. And then, but it was like, the end of the trail at the soccer pitch is like, you could like come up the trail and sit and watch the soccer games going on, and like, these were like kids soccer teams. I think there were older, maybe adult teams that played as well, but it was like mostly kids soccer teams. So it was weird. And yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Like, I feel like I can't help, I still think about this, and this was like probably at least a decade ago, at least. And I still think about it sometimes, like, what would have happened if we had kept going down that trail? Like, if I hadn't have been there and, like, kept, like, urging them to turn back, would they have kept going? Like, what would have happened? Like, that, My sword broke. My sword broke. I wouldn't mind, like, living in this tower. There's probably spawners underneath it or something, so if I could break the spawners, it'd be nice to live here. But I wouldn't want to live here with those things spawning all over the place all the time. This is a pretty decent sized village. Got a cow. I was trying to tell you not to end the raids, but then I realized that the raids would just keep restarting because they just keep spawning, so I think the only way to stop it is spawn. Presumably there are spawners. I almost died there. How do we talk about fan fiction? October, and I'm a part of the series fandom, and that's really when October is really when that fandom comes alive. If you don't know, and before you judge, if you don't know Railway series, Thomas the Tank Engine, the Railway series is the book series. And before you judge, it actually there's quite a lot of adult fans in that fandom. And it's really easy to turn it dark. It's really easy. For a children's show, it's really easy to turn it dark in a realistic sort of way. Because, and some of the darkness is canonical. Like, some of the darkness is legitimately canonical. And because even in canon, they touch on scrap. And because it kind of takes the original storyline in the book series. It was the original stuff that touched on scrap. They don't touch on scrap in the modern stuff, but the original storyline in the book series took place right around. It started when it started. I want to say it started in the 20s. Like the first book started in maybe the 20s, maybe before that. And then it kind of progresses through the years into the modernization era. So we're dealing with the main characters who are steam engines, and as the years go by, it starts getting they're bringing new engines onto the island because the railway on the island is growing. And as it goes by, they're buying the engines, and then it kind of turns into they're getting these runaways. We we have Douglas, who escaped Scotland with his brother Donald to escape scrap. Donald was bought, Douglas was not. We have Oliver, who escaped scrap, and it just, like, it touches on scrap, which is essentially, oh, what's happening? I died. It's fair, and there's also a fair amount of the world's not loading up. A fair amount of the world's not loading up. Okay, there we go. Fair amount of, like, ghosts and, like, kind of paranormal and, like, you know, railways. We got our ghosts of engines who crashed and all that good stuff. I don't know, kind of just, but what I was gonna say is that October is really when that fandom comes alive because of that. Because of, like, the all, like, the paranormal side of it and, like, the dark side of it really goes well with Halloween. But there's one thing about that fandom that drives me absolutely freaking nuts, and that is that it's so heavily, like, especially the YouTube side of it, there are so many remakes of canonical stories and of original fan stories. There are so many remakes. What is that episode called? Is it just called The Ghost Train? The one with Percy, who playing the trick on Thomas. I think that's just called Ghost Train. The amount of remakes of that episode, like, we don't need that many remakes, like, and every year there's more, and it's like, people just, like, keep making more and more remakes of, like, the canonical stuff, and yeah, those are good episodes, but, like, we don't need that many remakes, I'm sorry, like, how many times do I want to go and watch, Duncan Gets Spooked? Like, that's a good episode, but, like, I'm not gonna go and watch 50 different remakes by 50 different people of the same story, and it's, like, some of them actually use the canonical audio. I think it's just, like, even the ones that are, like, changed up a bit, it's still, like, the same storyline. Like, I get that when you're, like, doing the animation thing, it takes a lot longer if you're writing a story and doing the animation than it does if you're just animating a story that already exists. I get that. But, like, I don't know, like, I'd be happy with just, like, audio stories, like, they don't have to be animated. And, like, even fan stories, like, I've seen where, like, someone posts a story, like, a new on YouTube, like, let's say James's Discovery, because that's actually a good one. That's actually a really good one. The original was posted, and then maybe it wasn't the original. I don't know. It was posted, and then, like, it was, like, the first time I'd seen it, I was like, oh, this is actually good. And then, like, within, like, a few days, there were, like, remakes of it. Or maybe not a few days, but pretty soon there was remakes of it. I did it again, guys. I didn't realize the episode ended again. So maybe we'll talk about this again sometime, but see you later. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a comment. Have a good day.